Hello again, small model collectors. I reviewed this resin model a ways back. It's a Ferrari 250 SWB. It is by a brand called TCM. It's a resin model, henceforth it looks pretty nice. But I was perusing one of my shops again, and I got tempted to do a comparison. And so we have a newcomer again. Well, it's not a newcomer. This is my second one from this brand, MY64. I was very impressed with the Kega Porsche that this brand did. So we're going to see if this is any better. So, very stiff cardboard box here. It's got a little reveal thing here. Probably not licensed, right? So this is the number 14 car. The number 14 car came in third place overall at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in, I guess, 1960. What's it say here? 1961. Okay. And so this is a private entry vehicle. It wasn't supported by Ferrari. The first and second place were Ferraris. They were Testarossas. And I think the Testarossa had independent rear suspension where this did not. That's a pretty heavy duty bag this thing came wrapped in. So a very loose cover, molded clear plastic. I will say that plastic did keep this cover scratch free. You know, very often if you get these things in a cardboard sleeve, the cardboard scratches up the thing. So that's why this was in a plastic bag. Alright. And this is a real wooden base. Based on my, I think it's a real wooden base. Let's just see. You see those drill holes? I think there's grain in those drill holes. I don't think that's like the pressed powder MDF board. So I have a suspicion this actually is real wood. It's a real piece of lumber, not press formed sawdust. And you can also see how it's chipped there, but that's still wood. It's not sawdust inside of there. So it's pretty classy, I guess, but I do feel it's a large part of the cost of this model. But it is classy. Okay, 1961, first place in the GT3 category, but I guess it placed third overall according to the internet. Could be wrong though. These are the drivers, Pierre Noblet and Jean Guichet. I'm mispronouncing that obviously, but they sound French. And I guess there's 200 of this colorway. Alright, so very deep etching on this thing. Pretty nice. Okay. So I think that's the Pebble Beach Concorde. So I think that's the real car. This I don't know. This could be a replica in someone's house. I'm not sure. But it looks like the photograph. So again, this is possibly the Pebble Beach because of the grass. And there's this little classic photo I thought I'd bring up of it racing around. Pretty neat. Look how skinny the tires are. Alright. So it's a silver paint, and this clear coat is quite nice, as one would expect from a resin model. I mean, look at the reflection of the pick here. It's pretty sharp. Well, actually it's kind of cloudy there. I wonder if that's the curvature or what. You'll have to decide if you think that clear coat is wavy. I think it looks pretty good. Alright. So starting with this wheel here, we have the photo etch spokes, so there's air passing between the spokes. I think there's two layers of photo etching. You know, there's the outer layer with and then an inner layer, so it definitely looks three-dimensional. And then you have the little 3-pronged knockoff nut there for the wheel. What I don't know is if there's a brake system back behind those spokes. I can't see. Well, I don't know. It looks like there is a smaller circle, but hard to tell. I don't know. Look at the tires, though. They're bulging out like a 60s tire would, and the tread doesn't look like an off-road truck so much, so pretty nice. The little reflector in front of the tire is a separate piece. It's translucent. I have a feeling it's like resin on top of a piece of metal, because you can see the thickness there of the metal, I think. So that's a nice thing. It's like a 2-piece reflector. So we have the little vent here behind the fender, and I think there's a black insert or something in there. Yeah, three openings in that photo etch piece. Alright, there's 2 round studs or something at the bottom of the door. Maybe those are jacking up points or something. I'm not sure as to why there would be a line on them. I don't know. Strange. Number 14. Now you'll see how the white of the circle goes into the door cut. So that's pretty nice. I don't know if this is paint or decal, but it feels perfectly smooth here. I don't think it's a decal. I think it might be a tampo print, and then it's clear coated above it. You see the edge? Or maybe this model is raw white plastic. Then they printed on a 14, then they covered it with a round sticker, and then they may have painted the whole thing silver. And then when they removed the sticker, that might be what created this little roughness to the edge. It's a possibility. I can't think of any way else as to why there would be a rough edge around this thing. Yet it's still perfectly smooth, so it's under the clear coat. Okay, door handle is a photo etched piece of metal. You know, there's a very fragile, and there's air passing between the door and the handle itself. The windows are the super thin plastic that you can read through, and they have a photo etch molding on the outside. Okay, so there's a gas cap here. It's a photo etched piece of metal, and it's got nice details there for the lock and the hinge. And then this rear vent again is a separate black piece inserted, and it's got like 2 vents on that one. And then there seems to be a little fender, not fender, I guess a mud guard right here, splash guard. Maybe that's metal because it's very thin. Hold on a second. Yeah. I have a runny nose today. I had to blow my nose there. Alright. Yep. Look at these taillights. They're resin, I think. Or molded plastic. I'm not sure, but they're like the ends of LEDs. They're like domes. Or maybe they're actual balls. Look at that. I wonder if that's an actual red ball sitting inside something. I think it'll fall out if I touch it more. But obviously they're orange and red, and you can literally see as the light casts through on the orange one is casting orange on the silver paint. See, as I shift it around, the orange on the paint shifts with the light. So that's pretty neat. Alright. So you have 2 of these resin reflectors again, but this time they're red, and I think it's resin on top of a metal piece. The exhaust tips are very round, very thin, and so I have to suspect that those are pieces of metal tubing. Alright, so look at that. You can't get more realistic than a metal tube for an exhaust. So this side of the car, it does have this little heat shield on it. It's an arced heat shield on the real one. So this is not quite as realistic. This one is bent metal in 2 spots. But it should be a continuous sweep. Oh well. Some sort of photo etched lock or grab handle or something. License plate, yeah, that matches up. There's a decal, but I think it's a decal on a separate piece. Ferrari badge reads okay, although it's not laid on very well. It's not very straight. It's like that R is messed up. So that's unfortunate. So this white circle again. This time it's a really crisp edge on this blue. But I don't see any edge of a decal, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't know how they got that on there, if it's a tampo. But it's very nice. And then I'm not sure what these things are representing, these two things. Like, why would they be in that location? Are they literally... Well, I don't know. It's weird. I'm looking at the rear photograph and it looks pretty smooth there. I thought for a moment they were riveting on the number plate, but I don't think it's... I think it's painted on the car, this 14. So if anyone knows, please leave a comment. I'm sure other people would want to know what those things are. Alright. Now, I don't know why there would be a red dot here, but when I look at that racing photograph, the black and white one, there is something sticking out of the fender there. Some sort of warning light or something. Maybe it's an additional brake light or something. Again, please leave a comment if you know. Okay, so this side I think looks pretty much like the other side, which means it looks pretty good. Go to the front. So these headlights, I can see, you know, some striations inside of there. There's a chrome bucket here. I wonder if this is metal, this light ring here. I don't know. Maybe not. But there's a light bulb, you know, molded in there. It's sticking out inside that cone cavity. So it looks pretty nice. You know, again, when I move the model, you can see the black reflection shifting. That's how it would be on the real car, right? Pretty cool. Alright, we have some clear resin domes, I think, here for the turn signals. And then we have some intakes or brake ducts, I think these might be. And they do have depth to the middle of them. So well molded. I'm not sure if those are separate pieces or part of the main body mold. I don't know. Alright. So the license plate on the front looks good. I'm at 4 times magnification. That's a decal. Okay, so the fog lights there. Again, you can see some striations or some sort of Fresnoing to the lenses. And then the grille. This is what makes this better than the other model I showed you earlier. There's a separate prancing horse here. And the other one is just part of the grille cut out. So behind this grille, there's some sort of circular graphic going on. So there's another piece of photo etch metal behind this photo etch grille. Alright. But for me, I really like this prancing horse. It's fully defined, the edges of it. You'll see as I pull out the other one for comparison. The Ferrari badge looks good enough. The proportions are okay. That looks like it's a decal or a foil sticker. I can't tell if it's above or below the clear coat. I think it's below it. So that's really nice. Alright. Now the grille in this top vent is nice. You can see the cross hatching. So that's inset as well. I'm assuming that's a piece of metal. This little wind deflector has a photo etch base with the rivet marks, and then, you know, the thin plastic attached to it. So that's very impressive. The wiper blades, yeah, typical photo etched wiper blades, and they're bent 90 degrees, so they're perpendicular to the windshield. Alright, sorry, wasn't focus. Just looking over with my own eyes here. Oh, there's a vent on the top of the roof. Didn't even see that before. And this, I think there's something in there. Or it's paint. I'm not sure. I think it's a separate piece because it's crooked. So, alright. Now looking at this stripe here, let's see, is it straight? Yeah, I would say that those three stripes are lining up quite nicely. Yeah, looks good. Alright, so yeah, the back glass, the windshield, they're thin plastic, and they have the photo etched chrome molding on top of them. Now let's get to the tricky part, the good old interior. So the steering wheel, we have a shiny column and arms, and then it's a wooden painted steering rim. I see on that seat, yeah, photo etch harnesses, so that's pretty good. And I guess the belts are just black. They're a little hard to see, but they are there. And then you'll see the stick shift there. You know what, hold on, let me try this angle. I think I'm gonna need the flashlight. It's like a blue color, but it's not the lightest blue. Alright. Lumen, let's see how that one does. Well, the shifter's pretty nice. I mean, looks like a chrome ball on top of a stock. And yeah, it's got a boot as well. And then below it, it's like a photo etched piece of metal, probably like an ashtray or something. What's going on in the back here? Something on this glass. Alright, that's gone. Yeah, the back is pretty plain, it's just blue. Alright, there's the harness. You can really see the blackness of it though. I think this car has no headrests. So the harnesses are literally just on the shoulder rest. Interesting. Yeah. Lower safety back then in the early 60s. Looking at the door, I think there's a leather pull strap. You know, this is a racing car, so it's not gonna have a wind down window or like a regular door handle. That's just a leather strap, I think, you pull to close the door. And I think there's like a recess there in the door as well. And there's some rivet marks or hole marks there. So that's pretty nice. Oh, and there we go, some gauges. The glove box also has like a mechanism dot. But yeah, there's some gauges. Those look like decals to me. Maybe that's too bright. Hold on. Sadly, it seems like 1 lumen is not bright enough for a 1/64 scale, but 15 is too bright very often. Back to 15. Alright, so all those gauges look nice. And then there's also a Ferrari logo on the middle of the steering wheel. I'm wondering if there's gas pedals and stuff. That Porsche Kega one does have a gas pedal and all that stuff. I don't think this Ferrari does, so that's kind of a letdown. Kinda got spoiled by the Kega. Yeah, but it looks like there's a rectangle on the floor, like a floor mat. I think that's like a photo etched piece of rectangle on the floor of the driver's side. But, passenger side, I can't tell. No, I don't think the passenger. Oh no, wait, I'm mistaken again. I think the passenger side also has a rectangle on the floorboard. I can't go in and zoom in any further, but there's another shot of the steering wheel, and the shifter looks pretty nice. Right, and the gauges. Alright, well, it's not the best interior I've seen, but it's not the worst, that's for sure. Alright. To compare, what let me down for this is the lack of the Ferrari badge, and I complained about it in the review. Hold on here. I'll get the prop these up on this elevated thing to give us a better angle. You see, look at the Ferrari horse. It's not really there because it's part of the grille, right? So that's pretty weak for the price of any resin model, in my opinion. Any resin model should have a separate badge, but that one doesn't. And behind the grille, it's just blackness, which actually, that doesn't bother me, because that seems pretty realistic to me. The license plate's a little messed up, the decal of it. Pretty nice headlights, though. Very nice fog lights. Insert there. Yeah, the only thing really lacking, I think, is that prancing horse isn't the greatest. But clearly, this MY, it's a real three-dimensional prancing horse on top of a grille. So that's what makes that nice. Going back to this, the turn signals here, I think that's just a flat piece of metal. Yeah, so it's got an etching, you know, for the circles, but it's not actually domed like a real one. Whereas this one, I think it might be the etching as well, but I think there's also a resin dome on top of it. Hold on, let me try to touch it. It's so small, it's hard to do. Actually, maybe that is flat. Hold on. Can't tell if I think that might be flat as well. Or not. I can't even coordinate my finger. Oh, I feel that is domed. So there's a little bit of resin on top of that piece of metal. So it's a little above and beyond. We're talking some really nitpicky details, but it's the differences like this that I think are important, you know, to justify the price of something so expensive. Well, it's quite interesting. This has little side bumpers, you know, this sky blue car. This doesn't. It's got these funky vents in it, you know, being a race car. This has just a little normal fuel filler door and a lock on it. This one literally has like a racing fuel filler. It looks like an old Shelby Cobra kind of filler, right? Yeah, it's got the less than accurate muffler shroud there. This one has a full-on bumper. So actually, I'm going to keep both of these now because they're quite different. You know, this is a street version. This is the race version. I'm sure a real steel bumper, chrome bumper, must weigh a lot, so it makes sense to strip that off for a race car. I wonder if this sky blue one has gas pedals as well. I don't think it did. Decals. I wonder if this is the same brand, like the same factory. That decal looks, and the steering wheel looks awfully similar, right, from what it just showed you. Anyways, I don't see anything. And yeah, that chrome piece below the shifter also looks quite similar. But this has rib seats and normal street seat belts. And there is actually some floorboard detail, I think I just saw there. Yeah, see a little ribbing on the floorboard? So it is different on the inside. Yeah, clearly this has a race harness. And I can't see the floorboard thing. So hard with these little guys to get in on the detail. Alright. And then, you know, this has the windscreen thing here on the hood as well. So, very nice. If you had to pick, though, I would go with the MY model, just because of the prancing horse. This grill is just a big letdown. It really is. Alright, let's get a bigger coaster up here and pull out a couple other models. So I think we're done with this blue one. So I have a Kyosho of the original Testarossa. So I believe 2 cars similar looking to this came in first and second place in that same LeMans race. But they're probably red, but I don't know. I think the Kyosho is okay for the price of like $6 or whatever this thing went for was new. It actually has plastic inserted taillights, which is quite impressive considering how small they are. Look how small that taillight is. But they're clear plastic. Pretty lame exhaust though, just blanked off. You know, molded mesh wheels aren't going to be that great, but those are good effort. Plastic insert lights, and then a decent sized Ferrari badge there. Just a plain black interior. Alright. So, in the same time frame, there's a 250 LM. This is the resin version by Scale Mini, but this thing is rolling on like 22-inch rims, so Scale Mini really dropped the ball on this one. If they had just put normal size wheels like that on this would be an absolutely fantastic model. Look at the interior details, blue harness and all that stuff. And the exterior details are quite nice, but they just absolutely ruined it with those giant wheels. One of my first resin models was this guy. This was, I think, by SCM. But I believe MY64 has a bunch of these out, and they're probably just as good, if not better. So you can catch the 250 GTO train still, just through MY64. Sadly, I lost a windshield wiper blade pulling this out for other reviews. It's gone. It just fell out. And there's a possibility I might buy an MY64 of the 250 GTO in a different livery, because this is good, and the Kega Porsche is good. Alright, I'll just have to be careful so it doesn't look similar to that at all. Alright, top view. Well, I guess you have to decide for yourself if you think this is a nice model. I think it is. Were there any QC problems? I don't recall any, but I have a short-term memory. I guess my only criticism that I can see right now is the design choice of the shroud for the exhaust, where it should just be curved. They bent it, but that's a really minor thing. At least they have it there. So I really like all these little details. Oh, it would have been nice to have a gas pedal and a brake pedal. If they could get it on their other models, why wouldn't they have it on this? Alright, well, I appreciate you guys watching, and I guess I'll see you in the next resin video. Bye.